It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What? Yeah. Hey, everybody. What is going on? Covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You, my good friends, are checking out an all-new The RCWR show. Don't adjust right now. You are hearing me correctly. It is Saturday night. It's not Sunday. No. I wish it was Sunday. No. It is Saturday night of July 2nd, 2022, and we are just minutes removed from WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view event coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Hey, shout out to those of you that may be out and about. You're on the roads right now. Hey, if you are particularly behind the wheel, as I always say every single year, please be careful. And I hope that you get to your destination okay for this 4th of July holiday coming up. Hey, you're not just driving out there for yourself, but you also are driving out there for other people. So try to do your best to have a lot of patience out there. And to everybody that's traveling, hopefully you have already gotten to your destination, or you will be. Definitely hoping you get there in one piece, you and yours. So, yeah, a lot of busyness going on this weekend because it's International Fight Week. We've got the UFC doing their thing. We've got a little NASCAR going on as well. And, of course, WWE, remember, originally, we weren't even supposed to have Money in the Bank this weekend. We weren't supposed to have it, but WWE decided to pull an audible, and we had got it here tonight. It was interesting seeing some of the different reactions from folks that was coming in. I know for me personally, when I went into this weekend, couple of things. Number one, I'll give you guys the bullet points, but I'll talk more about it on Monday's show since we go a little bit more loose around the place. But I was on my way to work on Friday, and I had took public transportation going to work because usually wifey will get me coming back. I believe I was exposed to somebody that has COVID-like symptoms. This person was just coughing and a sneezing and a hacking, and they weren't even wearing a mask. And the one time that I did not have a proper N95 mask up under what I normally, if you've seen pictures of me, you guys know I usually like to wear some type of a bandana or a solid black color over my N95 mask or whatever. The one time I wasn't pushing a N95 mask because I said, okay, look, I should be okay. I should be able to get to work and then get my mask and then I'll be good to go. I was exposed to this knucklehead, and so I ended up feeling like dog shit today. So I ended up not going to work. I basically quarantined myself. I got a test coming tomorrow, early tomorrow morning. I'm getting the whole stuff up my nose and all that. So please keep your fingers crossed, knock on wood for me that everything's going to be all right. But, to say that my weekend has kicked off on an interesting tip would be an understatement. But as all of that was going on, I totally did not know that there was a WWE pay-per-view event until maybe 2 hours before the event kicked off. So much so, those of you that had checked out the past couple of episodes that we put out this week, I never made mention of a post show. I think the last thing I said was, hey, we'll take a look at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view card that's going to be coming up. And, that pretty much was it. But I don't know, guys. This was a rare first for me. One of those rare times where I totally blanked out. But I'm happy that we're here doing the post show here for you guys and everything. Look, man, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to unpack here on this episode, man. So we definitely need to go there and we need to talk about it. Because, where do you guys want to start? You want to talk about the overall good? You want to talk about the overall bad? On the one hand, you can look at this pay-per-view overall. By the way, shout out to those of you that did check out tonight's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Mad shout out to you guys, especially if you're out and about traveling and all that and you found the time to check it out. More power to you. Then again, there might be a decent amount of you guys that's not checking it out traveling wise, and you just said, hey, I happen to be free, I'm gonna check it out. Shout out to you guys, whether you're representing right now, checking it out live, or you're gonna be checking this out on demand and on downloads. Appreciate y'all as always. I got a poll up on Twitter and Facebook, keeping it simple for you guys tonight. No trick questions. Same thing. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Go on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Cast your vote that way, or go on YouTube, youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the Communities tab and cast your vote that way. I want to know what you guys thought overall about the pay-per-view. We'll get to you all's results in a little bit. Of course, I'll be chiming in, repeating some of the things that you guys are saying in the chat. Shout out to those of you that's tuning in via YouTube, or you're doing the Facebook or the Twitter, Twitch. Use keywords, the RCWR Show. Definitely join in on the activities here, the interactions, and sound off. Let your voices be heard in regards to tonight's pay-per-view and everything. So, nothing happened on the pre-show. I was checking out the pre-show off and on for the hour that it was on, and there was nothing that had went down during that. So for those of you that maybe were out and about and you're wondering if something happened on the pay-per-view, no, there was no pre-show matches whatsoever. Just rundown of the entire card when it was all said and done. So honestly, I like when we get that. I like when we get these pre-shows. That's been the constant theme of WWE as of late, hasn't it? It's very seldom these days that we get a match on a pre-show. It's very, very seldom. They just pretty much go right to the in-ring action and everything. Money in the Bank happening from Las Vegas, Nevada, out there at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. First matchup of the night, the Money in the Bank ladder match for a shot at the Women's Championship contract. They can basically choose whichever Women's Champion they want to go for up to a year. This bad boy went about 16 minutes, 35 seconds. Your participants in this one: Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans, Raquel Gonzalez, a.k.a. Raquel Rodriguez. I got to get used to calling her by Rodriguez now, so you all forgive me for the Gonzalez there. And Shotzi Blackheart. Personally, I had no problem with the Blackheart part of her name. I'm going to continue to call her Shotzi Blackheart. Thank you very much. 16 minutes, 35 seconds. Liv Morgan coming out of this as your 2022 Mrs. Money in the Bank winner. Look, overall, this was the best part I liked too about, as I always do with most of these pay-per-views. Shout out to those of you I was interacting with in the Discord, by the way. Some people were actually surprised that I watch my wrestling with the TV on mute. They're like, wait a minute, you actually do that? I was like, yeah, because it helps me be able to focus more on the in-ring action that's playing out before my very eyes. I'm more focused. I'm more into it, be it good, be it bad, indifferent. Just helps me overall focus more. Some of you guys should try that. Now, if anything, maybe once in a blue moon, depending on who the commentary team is, I'll either have it unmuted or I'll have closed captioning on. And if I kind of feel that closed captioning maybe missed out on something, then I'll play the audio, rewind it back, do it like that basically. But one thing I had liked about just going into this Money in the Bank pay-per-view was, okay, just entertain me. I'm hoping that you guys, as predictable of a card as this may be, I'm hoping we go into this and we're in for some surprises, because it would be nice to get some type of incentive for, well, if you didn't watch, this is what you had missed out on, okay? So as we're going into this, I just said, you know what? I want to try to take as very little notes as possible. And I found myself doing that throughout this whole pay-per-view night. As far as my thoughts on this women's Money in the Bank ladder match, I thought that overall it came off very amateurish. I felt that overall it wasn't the best women's ladder match that I've seen within recent years. I know WWE hasn't been doing these women's Money in the Bank matches that long, but I've seen better. I felt that this was the poorest effort to date. I felt that structure-wise, it wasn't organized, quite that well. I don't know how you guys personally felt about it, but for me, it seemed very disorganized. Very sloppy in so many areas. I couldn't help but particularly hone in on Shotzi, and I'm a big fan of Shotzi's. I've followed just a little bit of her work from the indies before she came into the WWE, and so I definitely was fortunate enough to see everything that she was doing on NXT before she came up to the main roster and everything. But of all the participants involved in this Money in the Bank ladder match, Shotzi Blackheart looked like the one that was a deer in fucking headlights. She looked as though she was not sure what the fuck she was supposed to do. She looked as if timing everything, just all the people, if I were to just, and this isn't, look, big Shotzi fan, okay? Feel me, folks. Big Shotzi fan. But you got to watch this back. For those of you that haven't watched the pay-per-view yet, you got to watch it back and just really pay attention to Shotzi. Shotzi looked as if she was not sure where the fuck she was supposed to be, when she was supposed to be there. It was really, really bad. One spot in particular that just had me clutching my teeth. Clenching, clutching, all that shit, okay? I know it's like, wait, how can you clutch your... It's easy, trust me. There was a spot where she had Alexa Bliss over her shoulders, right? And it looks like she's supposed to maybe do some type of a back Samoan drop or some type of, throwaway suplex, side suplex or something. And the way that she does Alexa Bliss, she pretty much sets up Alexa Bliss into going almost cockeyed into the ladder. And it was such an insane, dangerous spot that you knew Shotzi, oh shit, I fucked up. Because she's immediately, once she does the move, she immediately turns her head over her shoulder, looks over at Alexa and says something that's inaudible. We sadly weren't able to catch it. But as you're watching it, and this wasn't me pausing and I didn't do any of that. This was just as I was seeing it. That's why I always say to you guys, if you don't mind watching your shit without the volume on, go in mute, because everything is just more enhanced. Everything that you're seeing play out, how it's processing in your head and all that. But Shotzi's just looking over her shoulder And it's kind of, oh shit, I'm so sorry. You okay, dude? It was kind of one of those type of gestures. But yeah, not a fan of Shotzi in there whatsoever. Shotzi never needs to be put in that type of a match again. If you maybe want to do some type of a tag team match, you want to do some type of a street fight, you want to maybe do some type of hardcore match, things of that nature, I think she'll definitely be just fine. But yeah, man, that was not one of her strongest shining moments tonight. On the contrary, it was the opposite for Shotzi Blackheart, unfortunately. As far as ring generals, if you want to call it that, by the way, apologies in advance if you hear any rumblings in the background. We are in a thunderstorm warning in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia metropolitan area until 2 a.m. Now, obviously, we're not going to be on air all the way until then. We're going to be gone way before then, but it's been raining pretty hard off and on. So I just want to let you know, if you guys experience any type of technical issues, I am going to do my best to try to straighten it all out, reconnect, all that, but we should be okay. We should be okay. But if you guys are noticing anything weird, first thing I'm going to suggest, refresh your browsers. And if that fails you twice, then comment, let me know, and I'll try to see if maybe I can figure out what's going on at my end. As far as in-ring generals go for this matchup, you couldn't help but lean a little bit towards Asuka, Becky Lynch, and you know what? For a relatively newcomer to the roster in Raquel Rodriguez, I would say those three women really stood out to me the most, as they were very poised, matter of fact. They knew where they were supposed to be. They knew their stuff. They knew when to get it in, all that. They knew their spots accordingly. They all were pretty smooth. Even Alexa Bliss, for the little bit of stuff that she was doing in here, she had a couple of some nice spots. One of them definitely a high flying spot. She did pretty good in here as well. But my eyes was mainly on Becky, Raquel, and Bliss. I thought they all, particularly Raquel, because this is pretty much us getting really the opportunity to see her at a marquee pay-per-view, involved in a big quality, high caliber type of match with all of these, great participants and everything. So I thought out of the gate, she did extremely well for herself. I continue to be impressed by Raquel. Those of you that remember when we were tackling NXT on a weekly basis on our Wednesday shows, not so much now. Now it's pretty much AEW dominated, and just we talk key NXT here and there on those selected Wednesday shows. But depending on how long of a listener you are with me and everything, you know that I've been a big fan of Raquel Rodriguez for a long time. So I was most curious how she was going to hang during this matchup, and she honestly did not disappoint in this whatsoever. So I thought she did. Pretty damn good. But yeah, Liv Morgan having a nice couple of spots in there. One spot that jumped out to me was a power bomb that she did to Lacey Evans. By the way, the crowd reactions to Lacey Evans. Wow, that Vegas, Nevada crowd. Yeah, they pretty much got their finger on the pulse as far as who they like and who they don't like. And, it's sad that Lacey Evans was pretty much getting booed out of the arena almost every single time she was even remotely getting a whiff of that Money in the Bank briefcase. And it's not all her fault. That's the thing. It's not all her fault. It is just, you guys know the deal, just the way everything was initially, and then the back and forth, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, now back on SmackDown, and, okay, 1 minute it kind of came off like she was going to be a heel, then she's a babyface, and now we're not really sure what the hell, right? There's a whole lot of just, what's going on here that's in the air, but every single time it seemed as though she was getting a whiff of that Money in the Bank briefcase, fans were not having it. They were not having it, and I don't blame them. I seriously don't blame them, but Liv Morgan had a nice spot there where she power bombed. Now, see, there was a little bit of silliness in this, because after Liv Morgan got up on the opposite end of the ladder, she was fighting Raquel.
And over on Raquel's side, you had Lacey Evans, getting on top of Raquel, all about jockeying for a position. So Liv, she's fighting both of them, and somehow she's able to get this power bomb off on Lacey Evans and just plants her back first. Raquel, meanwhile, is just all alone on the fucking ladder and is just fucking stunned. She's looking on so fucking confused, and it's no, honey, this is your opening. Fuck what's going on right there. Just go on ahead, climb up that son of a bitch ladder, and go grab you that Money in the Bank briefcase. There was such hang time. It was not funny. Now, look, to defend Raquel Gonzalez, the only thing that makes sense to me when I say, going back to when I began talking about this ladder match came off very amateurish. It came off as if some people weren't really sure where their spots were, where they were supposed to come in and everything. To defend Raquel Rodriguez, you could make an argument that, okay, she was left hanging for such a long period of time because the person that was supposed to come in and pretty much fight her off the ladder wasn't in position just yet. So that's why you had the serious hang time that you had, where she's just there on the fucking ladder, not fucking climbing up the son of a bitch and everything. So, yeah, that definitely stood out to me as a sore eye. Shotzi, the stuff that she had in there, definitely as well. Raquel, Asuka, they looked the best. I particularly liked when Raquel and Asuka were going at it just briefly. I love their shit. They were fighting over by the announcer's table. I love Raquel just using her great strength, her athleticism and all that, her power, trying to just know Asuka. We're going to do it this way. I mean, she was trying to do some serious damage to Asuka over there by the announcer's table. I loved how Asuka was able to come in with a flying armbar on Raquel, and how Raquel in this spot, and you're wondering, okay, how is she going to get out of this one? A couple of times there, Raquel was able to use just her brute strength to get out of it. It seemed like she was going to do some ill intentions on Asuka over there by that announcer's table, but Becky Lynch had pretty much messed all of that up. So good stuff right there. Final moments of this bad boy was Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. At the very end, they pretty much were going at it on the ladder. You had a nice, good back and forth that was going on between them. They were both on dual ladders at the very end, so they both had their own respective ladders. Becky had pushed Liv, tried to push her off of the ladder as it pretty much had went teetering, if you will. And somehow Liv Morgan was able to regain the balance, push herself back towards the direction of Becky Lynch there, and was able to pretty much finish off Becky Lynch to win the Money in the Bank briefcase and everything. So if you happen to be following me on Twitter at the RCWR show, I did put my thoughts out there as far as who I thought was going to win. And I apologize, because normally when it comes to pay-per-view predictions, we get into it usually on Wednesday show. If there's a pay-per-view that's going to hit that weekend, usually the Wednesday show, we do predictions for you guys. It's very rare we do a weekend where we do predictions and the pay-per-view's hitting in that same weekend. Like that, for me, that doesn't make any sense to do. But I did put some thoughts out there, and I went on record hours before the pay-per-view came on, and I said, you know what? I'm really liking Liv Morgan for your Money in the Bank winner. So I am happy to have seen Liv Morgan getting that moment. Look, she has grown on me, and she's definitely improved as a wrestler. At the same time, she has a long ways to go. She is barely scratching at the surface. For me personally, she's barely scratching at the surface. Now, some could maybe look at this entire card for the women's Money in the Bank, and they could say, you know what? I just don't know about Liv Morgan. I don't know if maybe it should have been Liv Morgan. Maybe it actually should have been Alexa Bliss. Or maybe it actually should have been Raquel Gonzalez. And, you guys would definitely bring up some really good points for sure. But optics, hindsight 2020, just going back off of you've now had months upon months of WWE content to check out. It's pretty obvious that there are powers that be in WWE that, man, we see something here with Liv Morgan. We really want to, my God, from her and what was it, Rhea Ripley, to her and fucking the Bull Live Club, and just go in your mind and just think about all the times that they have Liv Morgan involved in something. This has been a pet project of theirs for a good minute now, for a really good minute now. And she's coming along. She still has ways to go. But I was happy. I was happy to see that Liv Morgan had got this. I legitimately was. I was like, good for her. And of course, cameras had called up to her later on in the night. Sarah, I can't think of the broadcaster or backstage interviewer's last name, but she had asked Liv Morgan if she had an idea who she was going to cash the Money in the Bank briefcase on, if she maybe was going to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase tonight. Liv Morgan, to that, all she had to say was, hey, look, I'm just, trying to revel in this moment right now. This is a long time coming, and I just want to enjoy this for what it's worth. So you're just going, okay, all right, good for you. More on Liv Morgan in a hot second, though. Bobby Lashley defeating Austin Theory to regain his United States Championship. 11 minutes, 5 seconds. Now, look, I said what I said about Liv winning. But that Money in the Bank women's ladder match, I've seen better women's ladder matches. I was not a fan of that match. I was not. It barely gets a thumbs up for me. Barely. If I had to rate that match, scale of 1 to 10, I am giving it a 5. I appreciate the effort. Anytime you put in the effort, right, you show up, I give you a 5. But just the way everything was laid out, Shotzi being a sore thumb in there, seemed a little bit discombobulated at times, that matchup and everything. Not a fan of that whatsoever. Bobby Lashley defeating Theory to regain his United States Championship, 11 minutes, 5 seconds. Now, for many of us that were watching this, and shout out to those of you I was interacting with via Discord, as I'm mainly hanging out in the Discord now. I kind of still put a little tweet out here and there, but mostly I'm in the Discord these days. For many of us, this is where, okay, now the action is really beginning here. And I thought, for what it was worth, Lashley and Theory put on a damn good match. Theory hanged big time with the 2-time WWE champion. I got to give Theory a lot of props here. He fucking impressed the hell out of me. And it kind of goes back to the Awesome Con panel that was hosted by myself, Julian Cannon, Wrestling Court, Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. We were offering predictions back then, but we also had previewed Money in the Bank and everything. And I said, in regards to Theory, I said, look, I know powers that be trying to get behind Theory. This kid is the future. It's like he's still, I'm not quite there yet. I don't quite see it just yet. He's got a good look and all that. It's like, but I'm not shitting on anybody that likes the dude. But for me personally, verdict is still out. I got to say, this was, for me, to each its own, but for me, this was okay. All right, you showed me something here tonight. You showed me that you can definitely hang. And talk about a big test right there. You hanged big time with a former WWE champion. And when you can hang with a former WWE champion, a respected amateur wrestler in his own right and everything, and Bobby Lashley, for me, that you go a couple of ways. You definitely go some ways with that. So I definitely couldn't help but say, all right, Theory, you're winning me over. Just continue to stay at it just like that. you know what? You'll continue to have me rooting for you in your corner for sure, right? I've never said anything negative about Theory. Just I'm not quite there yet. I just don't see it just yet. But this was a pretty good outing by the young man. You know, you're looking at this at this point, as great of a back and forth match as it was, and to see Bobby Lashley winning this, you know, at first you're going, okay, well, this doesn't quite fucking make sense. Did Theory piss somebody off? What exactly is going on here? But then the more that you thought about it, well, wait a minute. And this is the direction I automatically went to after I saw the conclusion of this match. I said, well, the only way this makes sense is if you have Theory somehow get put into the men's Money in the Bank ladder match and he ends up winning it. That's the only way this all makes sense and is pretty much a full circle type of ordeal for the man and everything. So, and if you kind of thought that way immediately after you saw how this had wrapped up, you definitely got rewarded for thinking that way. You definitely did, I would have to say. Especially when you just saw the way in which Theory lost to Lashley. Let's not also lose sight of that. The way in which Theory lost to Lashley, it was clean, just right down the middle, tapping out to the Hurt Lock. Tapping out to the Hurt Lock is how Theory had lost the United States Championship. So, kind of interesting what they had did right there. You know, interesting. Now, when you look at things from the Lashley standpoint, you're going, okay, Lashley, I mean, my God, we've done everything to build this guy up. We've constantly kept him in the main event picture and everything. And okay, so now we're pretty much just going to have him go back to being a United States champion. Now, some people may look at that and they may look at that as a fucking demotion. They may honestly look at that as a demotion. I don't see it that way. I still see it as a good thing, especially if you maybe want to revisit MVP Omos Lashley. If you maybe want to do something with that and pretty much my biggest takeaway from tonight is, okay, you know what? It's all about establishing new stars. You know, it's all about having the old guard, not necessarily pass the torch, if you will, but it's definitely about the old guard working and establishing the stars of tomorrow. So if ultimately, look, we all can be in agreement. Lashley can still go for a guy that's in his mid to late 40s. The guy can still fucking go. But at this point in his career, look, we all know that before Lashley hangs it up, most likely he's got at least 2 more World Heavyweight Championship reigns in him. Knock on wood, he stays healthy. There's no doubt about that. But right now, it's all about establishing new stars and everything. But to see Theory lose clean, was it weird? Yes. But the minute that you started, and shout out to those of you that are Theory fans, I would imagine you guys had got pretty upset when you saw that shit go down. But hopefully you were able to just, well, wait a minute here. That is, if you've been watching the WWE product for a long time, you're going, well, this makes sense if it goes down the way that maybe it's going to go down. But nice match between the two guys. Nice match. We got a recap of the Carmella-Bianca Belair feud that pretty much had set us up for the Raw Women's Championship match between Carmella and Bianca. Bianca going over. I don't think anybody was surprised that Bianca. But then again, look, history has shown that just out of the clear blue, Carmella has become a champion. So I wouldn't blame folks that went into this saying, you know what, let's go with a swerve here. Let's go with, and of all the matches I was looking at, had I been able to do predictions, I definitely would have said if one match I would put an asterisk by that it could go either way, I definitely would have put it on this one. I definitely would have put it on this matchup right here. This match, about 7 minutes and change. I like that both of these girls. This was another match that was actually pretty damn good as well. I thought it was decent. You know, some people have felt that this match was trash, that this match was just as bad as the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I didn't feel that way whatsoever. Honestly, up to this point, I'm going, well, you know what? If there's one match I could have done without, it's definitely the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That would be my low point. Like, no, like this match between Bianca and Carmella was actually pretty good. Both of these women could fucking go. Bianca always impresses me with her athleticism, with her power. And then Carmella, you know, I hate to burst the bubble for some people, but for those of you that maybe were impressed tonight by some of what you had saw Carmella do, I want you all to ask yourselves, when was the last time you were really watching Carmella on a regular basis? I say that because it's not a trick question. Because if you watch SmackDown at least a regular basis within the past 3 years, you would know that Carmella was having some pretty solid matches over on SmackDown. She has, to my point, improved tremendously as a singles competitor. She has done a phenomenal job in taking, pro wrestling, I won't say seriously, but just, hey, I want to be the very best I can be when I step into that ring. I know she gets hazing sometimes. I know she gets crap from the fans and everything, but nah, man, if you put her, look, has she been involved in some crappy ass story arcs and all that? Because, look, not for nothing, but it's kind of hard to go, oh, yeah, Carmella is a really good wrestler when you've seen her mostly in slapstick backstage bullshit. That also includes the 24/7 championship run. It's really hard if that's all you see to go, wait a minute, this girl actually knows how to fucking wrestle. And I couldn't help but be very proud of both of these girls. They went into this. Look, this match wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It was just right. And the fact that post-match, first of all, I like how the match ended. I like how definitively, no questions asked, without a shadow of a doubt, Bianca Belair beat that fucking ass. All right? She beat that fucking ass. Closing moments of this one, there was pretty much a delayed vertical suplex applied to Carmella. And then Belair pretty much took her into the corner, started doing the pound ground game on her. Carmella comes back with a low super kick that only gets her a near fall, talking a whole bunch of trash, and then bam, just out of nowhere, Bianca comes in with the KOD, 1, 2, 3. That's pretty much over and done with. Okay, so definitively, Bianca Belair beat that ass. She tapped that ass. Post-match, though, Carmella, being a sore loser, jumps on Bianca, just ground and pounding on her chest, on her head, all of that, rolls out of the ring. Bianca, she's selling it. She staggers. She gets up. All right, so obviously we're not done with these two girls just yet. You know what? I'm okay with that. I know for some people, they're looking at this and they may be going, shit, WWE kind of doesn't really know what to do with this feud. Like, what the fuck is going on? This is head scratcher. What the... Folks, need I remind you that originally we were supposed to get Bianca Belair and not Ronda Rousey, forgive me there, I got my R's mixed up, Rhea Ripley. We were supposed to get Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in this program, but because of what's currently going on with the health status of Ripley, knocking on wood for you, honey, hope you have a speedy recovery, and then some. She's going to be out for a little bit. So, unfortunately, WWE had to pull a fucking audible. And all things considered, how things landed in this Money in the Bank and everything, this is the direction that they had to go in. They pretty much had to go with, someone like a Carmella. So, you can't really shit on this when WWE had to pull an audible. And then on top of that, they're kind of saying to themselves, well, we got the beginnings of something here, not necessarily special, but can definitely keep the viewers' interest for the next couple of weeks. Let's say we do this. Let's run with this. Let's see if we can maybe run this back, have this play out on TV. Let's see what's up. I'm okay with WWE going, we going to have these girls run it back. I'm okay with that. All things considered. I'm all right with that, okay? Y'all know I wanted for Rhea Ripley to chase after Bianca for the championship and all that, but Ripley's out right now. So if it's going to be Carmella, I'm totally down with that. I just hope that in the process of everything that we get to see ultimately Zelina Vega come back, and somehow Zelina Vega gets into the equation there. Like, is everything truly kosher between Zelina and Carmella? Because if so, I definitely would love to see them pretty much do the numbers game on fucking Bianca Belair. Because then the question becomes, all right, so who potentially could come to the champion's aid? I don't know if that maybe comes in the form of Nikki Ash. I don't know if maybe you do something with her, or if that comes in the form of Alexa Bliss. If you maybe want to try to, Alexa Bliss, she is still in this weird position of plug and play. It's a really weird position because it seems like creative doesn't really know what to do with her right now. It's like, great, we got her. Okay, now how are we going to we don't know. We're just going with the flow, right? To the point, did you guys see the crappy-ass commercial spot that they did with Alexa Bliss? So shortly after they did the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, they had Liv Morgan walk into her locker room. And she sees the Lily Dow chilling on the fucking sofa, and she's saying, Lily, what's all of this? What's all this stuff around here? What have you been doing, right? And you see a bunch of WWE merch that's all around the fucking place. And she's talking to the fucking doll as if the doll is responding to her, but we don't know what the doll is saying because it's dead silent. And she's like, okay, so what did you use to buy all this, Lily? Oh, it's over here, you say, right? And she goes into Lily's little fanny pack or whatever, and she pulls out a WWE Credit One card, right? All right, so we got a shameless fucking plug for WWE Shop and the WWE Credit One card. Oh my God, the fans that were there in attendance in Nevada, you could hear their fucking groans and boos. That was the funny part about that whole fucking little spot, was the groans and boos you were able to hear from them. And I just died with fucking laughter. I would imagine WWE is probably going to go back post-production when it comes to the replay, replace that shit with some cheers. But you could literally hear the groaning and the boos for that. But to my point, it's like, okay, what do we do, right? So, they're doing all these, but just think about that. We're using the sick, twisted, sadistic doll, you're right, and we're using the cute looks of Alexa Bliss and everything to sell merch and credit cards, right? WWE knows their fucking demographics, man. They know that Alexa Bliss is their fucking merch pusher. They know this, right? So, but it's like you can hate the game, but you can respect the hustle, right? You can respect the fucking hustle, man. Let's see. From there, we got a recap of Logan Paul signing his WWE contract from earlier this week, as he revealed that, no, contrary to what The Miz is saying, for those of you that might have missed it, because I didn't even see this. So I learned about Logan Paul's signing on social media. What was that? I think it was Wednesday. It was either Wednesday or Thursday. It was either Wednesday or Thursday I had learned about the signing. But it happened around a time where we were already done with the last show for the week, at least until tonight and everything. So for me, it was nice to get that whole recap. Miz playing it off as if the two of them are going to be a tag team again in the very near future. Logan revealing, no, I didn't just sign any old WWE contract. The WWE contract that I signed, I am basically a singles competitor. And the very first match that I'm going to have as part of the WWE roster full time is a match against you, Miz. I'm coming for that ass. I'm going to kick that ass at SummerSlam. So we're going to be seeing Miz, Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Look, I'll say this and we'll move it along. If you want me to talk a little bit more about Logan Paul, maybe on this show or on Monday's show, I'll definitely go there, no problem. But look, for WWE, great grab. When you talk about somebody that has such a strong, significant following, truly, he is a social media influencer. Good, bad, and different. He is a social media influencer. He might not be your cup of tea, like he's not my cup of tea, but there is no denying it that he has a impact on social media. Furthermore, when you go back and you look at the stuff that young kid was able to do last time we saw him, it was damn fucking impressive. So fucking impressive. Don't believe me? Go back. Contrary to how I may feel about Logan Paul, I gave him his flowers. I gave him his flowers on that. I can't remember the pay-per-view that they did. Why does it feel like it was maybe WrestleMania? Was it this past year's WrestleMania, y'all? It kind of feels that way. But I remember being on the post show giving Logan Paul his thoughts, his props. I gave him his props, man. So, it's a good grab for WWE. It is a significant good grab for WWE. And I'm definitely going to be paying very close attention to what happens with him and his career and everything. What I would like to learn more, and maybe you guys could enlighten me, has he given an interview yet where he's talked about his future? And I thought it was MMA, but somebody had corrected me and said, no, it's actually boxing. What's going on with that? Is he still going to be pursuing that, at least on a part-time basis? Or no, he is pretty much all in on WWE full-time. So shout out to you boxing/MMA fans out there. If you happen to know the 4-on-1 on that, definitely sound off. Maybe we'll know a little something before we go off the air, or we'll be able to revisit it on Monday's RCWR show. Next up, tag team titles. Usos taking on the Street Profits. Hey, have you guys been enjoying yourself so far? If you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor. It only takes 2 seconds. Helps me out a ton. Hit that like button. When you do that, you really help put more eyeballs on the content. Helps out big time as far as suggestions go. I see now we are 20 away from hitting 12,000 subs on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, make sure you do that. I see we've been picking up some nice traffic this week. Shout out to those of you that are new subscribers, man. Hope you enjoy your stay here. Usos, Street Profits for the tag team titles, for the undisputed tag team titles too. I gotta say, when this match first started off, you're going into it and you're going, we've seen some variation of this. Yeah, whatever. If you were going the boring route, it was okay to feel that way. But as the match picked up, you're going, holy shit, this is actually fucking A. This is actually a pretty damn good fucking tag match. Once they really had started shifting gears and everything. But it was almost buzzkill. We almost went into Young Bucks territory. And I think anybody that watches AEW, you make your rounds, you check out all the stuff from the wrestling promotions. I think most of you would be in agreement that we were going into some AEW uncharted waters here in this matchup, because this one went 23 minutes. And then in the near falls, the false finishes, it was becoming the high spot after high spot. It had all of the fucking ingredients that would make the Young Bucks kick back and go, fuck yeah, right? And you're just going, okay, just scale back on this a little bit. And, okay, great. You're shifting gears. cranking it up a notch. That's great. That's great and everything, but come on, man. You don't need to fucking, now that you've got these fans alive and in the palm of your hands, you're doing some cool ass fucking shit. Nice, good spots in this match, right? It's like, but now you're fucking teasing them, right? You're fucking teasing them, right? No sex in the champagne club, they always say, right? But you go to the champagne club, you're getting that nice little lap dance, and you know, if you're good like that, you don't have to do anything with your hands. Maybe as good of a stripper that you got there with your dancer, maybe her grinding and all that will hook you up, right? Right? But you don't want too many, right? Probably a bad analogy, but you get the point that I'm making. Stay with me, people. Stay with me, right? It was just a little bit too much teasing, my whole point. Too much. It's like, okay, take it home already, because you're throwing everything and the kitchen sink and then some in this matchup. You know, this was probably the dark horse match of the night, I would say. I think this is the match that most people most likely looked at, and first thing they said, well, you know, not for nothing, we've seen some form of these guys face each other for, you know, off and on past several weeks now. You know, we ain't gonna see nothing different than what we don't already fucking, right? So you went into this with that mindset, and you probably already said Usos for the retain, but the longer this match went, believe it or not, the better it actually got. And for me, when I look at dark horse matches of the night, I'm giving it to this one. This was definitely the sleeper hit match of the entire fucking pay-per-view. So if I were to give you guys in a particular order the best matches from this 7-match pay-per-view card, my number one would definitely be this tag match. My number two would go to, see, it's a tie. But my number two would go to Bobby Lashley and Theory. And my number three would be Bianca and Carmella, without a shadow of doubt. So it's interesting because we go into this matchup and we have all that chatter that's in mind about somewhat trouble in paradise there for Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, that, you know, maybe there might be a bit of communication breakdown. There might be some animosity brewing between the Street Profits because they just, when it's counted the most, they haven't been able to fucking get the job done, right? So what's going on here? And, you know, they had Caleb Braxton try to, you know, get answers and all that. And if you did watch the pre-show, as I said, I was in and out on the pre-show. But I did happen to see the segment where Street Profits had Crash the panel set, and they pretty much, way they kind of made it come off, nah, what you guys talking about? That's just that hot gossip drama. Nah, we thick as thieves, we cool, everything's gravy, right? That's basically what they were saying in a nutshell, right? So you're keeping all that in mind as you're going into this matchup, and you're wondering, okay, so how is this going to end? Is this match going to end by hook, or is it going to end by crook? Well, final moments of this tag matchup here. Dawkins gets the tag in there. He's going in, but then he goes back to Ford. They do a double super kick, or a couple of two. Adam Cole, not Adam Cole, my God, why was I thinking Adam Cole? Forgive me there. Michael Cole is who I was thinking. Michael Cole with the line of the night. We're going to have a 1 hour Broadway tonight here in Las Vegas. Like, I hope not, Cole, because honestly, the fans would not be able to handle that. No, it's really time to fucking go home. And on that note, I was kind of glad that they basically went home. Ford had hit the big running flip dive onto the Usos. Pretty much a nice setup for the frog splash for a 2 count, as Jimmy was there for the save. Nice big stare down went down between all 4 men, and then they pretty much were all slugging it out till Dawkins gets sent into the barricade. 1D by the Usos finishes off Ford. 23-minute mark, 1, 2, 3. But wait. At this point on commentating, we've got Michael Cole. Wouldn't that be something if it was Adam Cole? That was just, by the way, because of that fuck up earlier. Like, wouldn't that be something if it was Adam Cole? But anyway, so after the match is over, we got Michael Cole Pat McAfee, Corey Graves. Pat is just relishing in the fact that the Usos won. Meanwhile, Cole and Graves, they're going, wait a minute. Are we even really sure that that finish is correct? Kind of looked like the ref messed up. Pat's just celebrating. They show the replay. Cole and Graves are going, yeah, look at Ford's freaking back. His back was nowhere on the freaking canvas. Remember, back's got to be flat out, shoulders both on the mat and everything. Ford had clear as day, shoulder was up, ref still counted to 3. So once Pat McAfee gets word, what the guys were seeing, he wants to see the actual replay himself. He sees it. He's like, wow, damn, I thought you guys were lying. I thought you were ribbing me there. Well, shit, yeah, they kind of fucked up there. So you've got the Street Profits. I mean, this is so weird because we've got this story arc where we're led to the impression that, it could be the beginning of the end of the Street Profits. And yet we somehow take that arc and now we add a new caveat to it in the form of, the referee fucked up. The referee fucked up, so I don't agree with that. I think the way that it maybe should have went, because think about this for a second. What's your story arc going to be now? What's your story arc going to be now? Are you going to have the Usos out there celebrating and then Street Profits are going to come out and say, hey, the ref fucked up, we deserve a rematch? Is that where we're going? Because if we are going to go there, that rematch needs to play out a lot sooner than later. Like, it needs to play out on your TV instead of the next pay-per-view, is to my whole point. So I believe, now look, I don't think this was a fucked up botch. I think this was straight up legit. Take a quick cig. I think this was a legit spot to basically do a continuation of Usos and Street Profits setting up a rematch and everything. But I still feel that eventually we are going to see Montez Ford and Dawkins break away from one another. If you've been checking out the show long enough, you guys know how high of a fan I am of Montez Ford, how I've constantly gone on record and said I see him as a great singles breakout star, right? We even entertained the idea of, well, maybe is it Angelo Dawkins? Is it Dawkins that maybe needs to turn on Montez Ford? Because we know how great of a heel Montez Ford would be. There's no mistake about that. He would be a bona fide, badass, good heel. But would it be enough for also helping to get over a face Angelo Dawkins? Would it be enough? Looking past that feud with each other, who would continue to be successful in the WWE? And I think most of us, no matter how some of us may feel about the Profits, I think if we really just took a step back and we marinated on it, we would go, yeah, you know what? Ford is the man. If I'm going to do something between the two, Ford ongoing, Dawkins, I don't know. I just don't know. Little loss on him, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how everything pans out. You want my 2 cents from a distance? I think that they're going to get a rematch against the Usos, whether it's going to come as early as Monday Night Raw, or I just see a rematch happening on television the next couple of weeks. They will lose that. I think Ford will be the one that will get frustrated. Dawkins will maybe be the sympathetic, oh, bro, I'm so sorry, man, we were so close. Man, that just, heartbreaking. Don't worry, dog. We just gotta dust ourselves off. We gotta go there again. I could see some shit like that going on. I could see some shit also where, they say, hey, look, We got to work our way back up to the top, try to get a shot at the tag team champions. It is what it is, but hey, we're starting off fresh. Whatever went down a couple of weeks ago, that's in the past. Now we're focused on the future. We're going to go on a new streak. I think at this point, WWE needs to be smart about this, and they just need to do a slow burn. We just need to see these guys continue to be on some type of a losing streak and see the cracks in foundation of this tag team come apart. And then if you really wanted to turn things around, if you really wanted to, as good as we know Montez Ford would be as a heel, if you really wanted to make things interesting, the smart move would be to have Dawkins be the heel and let Ford be the babyface. Let him be the super babyface. That would be the smart move. I feel you would have a little bit more interesting storytelling in that. It would just be so easy to go the Ford route, but the Dawkins route would be better, especially when you put Bianca Belair into the mix. Come on. How many times have we seen commercials with all three of them? Okay? And how badass would it be if you had Bianca Belair? Angelo, what the fuck is going on, man? We treated you like not just a brother. We treated you like family. We were there for you at your low points, especially in your WWE career. You ain't had shit going on, right? How much do you want the lines to blur? How much do you really want to fucking... I think it would be more of a great incentive of a story arc if you actually went in that direction where Dawkins is the heel, do some shady fucked up shit, turns on Ford. Ford is out for a little bit. Bianca maybe tries to take it upon herself, not just to be the peacemaker, but try to give tough love to Dawkins. Maybe he's about to get physical with her. Ford makes his return. You guys tell me what you're leaning more towards. If indeed we are seeing the beginning of the end for the Street Profits, would you like a Montez Ford heel turn, or would you like a Angelo Dawkins heel turn, and why? I would love to know what you guys think about that one. But great tag match right here between both of these respected teams. I was digging this. Like I said, this was my dark horse tag match of the night. It had a nice throwback vibe to it too, because the longer that it went and the better it got, putting the false finishes and all that shit to the side, you felt as though you were watching a nice throwback tag match of insert whatever, whether that's Dudley's Dudley's and the Hardys, or Edge and Christian versus Matt and Jeff Hardy. I mean, take your pick, but it definitely had a nice throwback type of vibe to it. We all could be in agreement that the first half, right? Because remember, it was 23 minutes. The first half of it, we all could be in agreement. It was, right? just putting the clothes on the little drawstring in the backyard, just putting them out to dry. But then the second half, good shit right there. By the way, did you all that watched the pay-per-view, did you peep how Montez Ford was not happy? So they've already planted the seeds that Ford could, which is even more the reason why I feel they got to actually flip that script. Get a recap of Natalya and Ronda Rousey as they're going at it for the SmackDown Women's title, right? Rousey is defending it there. And in regards to the promo spot that came down before Rousey versus Natty, according to Shai Lu, I didn't forget about that. It was just all about finding a sweet spot to talk about it. So I got some images for you guys. So this had happened right before Ronda Rousey and Natty's match. So I took the liberty of taking several screenshots frame by frame here, okay? So when it first plays, I would play it for you guys, but we don't need to get a WWE copyright, okay? But when it first plays, you're going, holy shit, Bray Wyatt's returning? But then when you're looking at it frame by frame, they're pretty much telling you who this person is, right? So in this first frame, for my audio lovers, I'm giving you guys the play-by-play. Don't worry, folks. There's more images I'm getting ready to show you, but I gotta make sure we're showing love to those that's just audio listeners, right? Gotta make sure we're describing it for them, especially those that didn't watch the pay-per-view. So in one of the first frames, no particular order, but one frame that stands out is this frame I'm showing you guys where we see this boot that is on a Texas license plate. You're going, oh, okay, cool, all right? You're thinking Bray Wyatt the first initial time you see this little vignette. It must have went about 15 seconds at most, all right? If even that. Another frame of interest, that license plate again. You're going, hey, is it possible we could maybe see that license plate again without the boot? You do. And when you do see it, it says clear as day, Latino Heat. So you're going, Eddie Guerrero. Okay, gotcha. There's another frame where you see this graffiti that's on the wall. And you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But off to the far right, you see a pair of glasses that's hanging on maybe a piece of cardboard or maybe a piece of table. If you home in closely on the glasses, they've got a white tape mark right in the middle. You're going, interesting. Of course, if you're veteran wrestling fans like myself, you're going, Team 3D, Dudley Boys. And then right next to those glasses, you see some type of weird exotic sleeve colors that makes you think of the Hardys. I don't know how far you guys were going with this. Again, this was a lot to process in 15 seconds, right? Next frame, you see those boots again. The person is walking past, right? They're walking past a trash can, right? So you're kind of going, all right, maybe you could look at that and say this person is hardcore or whatever. Okay, sure. And then there's another frame where you kind of see this person's build, but it's very blurry. One thing is for certain, they have skinny legs. They have a small build. They're somewhat lanky, okay? But what's that in the upper left-hand corner there? It looks like some type of a medal, some type of a medallion around a ribbon or something. What's going on with that? There we go. Okay. Looks like some type of a award medal. Maybe from a former Olympic gold medalist? Huh? So when you put this all together, I'm going to come back now. So when you put all of this together, I know a lot of people were going, Gable Steveson. It's got to be Gable Steveson. And it's, well, what does a Texas license plate, Latino Heat, and all, what does all that have to do with? And then some people were going, it's got to be Dominic. It's fucking Dominic. Like, how does that tie into the... No. For me, my interpretation, I was one of, if not the first, I was one of the first to mention this, which was, look, this is Edge. This is Edge basically telling Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, Judgment Day, okay, you guys think you did a serious number on me. Let me tell you something. I went to war with hardcore legends like Mick Foley. I went to war with Olympic gold medalists such as Kurt Angle. I went to war with the most extreme tag teams that's out there in the form of Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys, Team 3D. I fucking went up against Eddie Guerrero. I went through really good, decorated men, all in their own right, WWE Hall of Famers. And they all didn't take my ass out. But you all think you could take my ass out? you got another thing coming. That's how I looked at that video package. I don't know if you guys looked at that video package as well, but that's how I had looked at all of that combined. I mean, when you really just stop and think about it, frame for frame for frame for frame for frame, it screams Edge. And I think when you really take a step back, those of you that's saying Gable Steveson, it's not matching up. Those of you that are saying Dominic Mysterio, don't just guess, because let's follow the story arc. See, this is how you could tell who's paying attention, watching the current WWE product, and where the placement is right now with certain characters and story arcs versus those that's just guessing and just throwing shit in the wind. Remember, one of the last times that we saw Dominic Mysterio, he was approached by Judgment Day, where they said to him, hey, look, you got all the potential in the world to seize your career. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Seize your career, grab it by the balls, take it to the next level. You just got to get rid of those that's holding you back, like your dad. That was last week, folks. So how do we make that jump from that to doing the vignette which we saw tonight, and we're going to say that's Dominic Mysterio? You see how that doesn't make sense, people? So I'm curious what you guys think. You know, if you feel that that's a very good, strong argument I made, that it's Edge, or if you're still not convinced it's Edge, but you definitely don't see it being Gable Steveson, you definitely don't see it being Dominic Mysterio, you actually see it being somebody else, sound off. I'd like to know what you guys are thinking in regards to that. All right, so on that note, that was the promo, though. I did not forget about that. Let's rock on here. Let's see. Oh, by the way, Nick Khan was in the house as well. That was pretty badass. Nick Khan was in the house. I'm trying to remember what match. He wasn't there for Carmella versus Bianca, but I do remember seeing him. Let me go back to my notes here, because I actually remember writing it down. I want to say he was there for... I'm looking at it. He was definitely there for the Theory Lashley match. I don't remember if he was there for the first match, for the women's ladder match. By the way, the McMahons, they were in the house apparently. Am I seeing this right? Am I seeing this right? Is this correct? Can anybody confirm this? Apparently at tonight's UFC pay-per-view, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon, Pat McAfee with a collared neck brace were in attendance. Can anybody confirm this for me before we go off the air? Because literally, and I'm going to show you guys the picture, but apparently they were at the UFC event. So I'm seeing by Chester in the chat that apparently after the main event match, Corbin had attacked Pat McAfee. So if that is accurate, that maybe would explain the neck brace. That maybe would explain the neck brace that fucking Pat McAfee is wearing in this bad boy here. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna show this to you guys real quick here. Let us put in... I'm going into properties here, and let me just add this image for you guys. This is real quick. It'll take me just 2 seconds. Bear with me while I find this. Yep, there it is. Boom. All right, and then we can close that out now. All right, so I'm going to show you guys this. All right, where is it? Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. It should be the next one coming up. There you go. So there you go. Right to, or left to right there, Vince McMahon, Stephanie, Triple H, Pat McAfee, and a fucking neck brace. Yo, if this is tonight, and if it's true, if maybe, Steven, if you're still around, do me a favor. If you could confirm for me that, that Pat McAfee was attacked by Corbin after the main event, that would be badass. And if somebody could also confirm this picture of the McMahons, if that's from tonight, I mean, great fucking storytelling. Because to that, the only thing I would have to say is, I know Tony Khan wants to try to, make this whole, remember that comment from, what was it, last month? Remember the comment where Tony Khan had basically took a massive shit on WWE for moving their pay-per-view, their Money in the Bank pay-per-view to UFC, same night UFC was doing their thing. What a smart move that was, and how basically he tried to make it seem like he's boys with Dana White. Remember what I said on that particular episode? I said to you guys, this kid must have forgot that Dana White and the McMahons, they have been fucking business associates. They're fucking friends. They've been friends with one another for many, many, many years now. This almost goes as far back as to when Shane McMahon was trying to convince Vince, let's buy the UFC. And ultimately, Vince had passed on buying the UFC, right? So, interesting how if that picture of the McMahons is from tonight, I really need for Tony Khan, stop trying to chase that clout. Stop trying to, it's not there, right? Trying to start this whole, it's not there, man. Just stop it already. All right, so let's go to our next match. We don't have that many more matches to talk about here. Honestly, we only got 2 more matches to talk about. Our next one, SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey taking on Natalya. First off, good God almighty, Natalya was looking extra scrumptious tonight. I just I gotta give her props. She was looking extra scrumptious tonight. This match came off pretty bad. And the question becomes, okay, was it supposed to be bad? Or were these girls actually going into this giving it their all here? Because the crowd, Jesus Christ, the crowd was not into this. After the whole Ronda Rousey theme entrance, and are you not entertained? The fans could care 2 shits not. Of all the matches on this card tonight where there was little reactions, this was it right here. The crowd could care less about what was going on in this matchup. It was quite sad. I mean, wasn't a great match. I've seen better matches between Natty. I've watched Natty for a long time in the ring, man. A long time in the ring. I've seen better matches from her. I've watched every single Ronda Rousey match since day one she's been in the WWE. I know what Homegirl is capable of. This was not her finest moment as well. This just really left me scratching my head going, what are we doing here? Are we, when you've watched 2 respected technical women and Natty and Ronda for as long as we have, you get to a point where you just go, are you girls dialing it back here on purpose? Because majority of this match, bunch of holds. Now look, I like a good technical wrestling matchup as much as the next person. We've all seen our fair share. But there was a whole lot of fucking holding going on in this one, right? I wasn't sure if I was watching a wrestling match or if I was watching 2 people slow dance. Seriously, that's how fucking it was really weird. It was really weird watching this. It really, really was. Natty, no shade to both women. Natty particularly, always solid in the ring. Always solid in the ring. Her shit always looks good. No issue about that whatsoever. But this match overall felt like they were just killing time. What a weird feeling to be on a pay-per-view and to feel like, what, right? Very, 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 very weird. Um, and then, not to mention, you also just felt that this match was a straight up no brainer. You felt that Ronda should definitely get this matchup. You know, you're like, seriously, why are we even beating around the bush with this? Why are we even playing? Right, this one, believe it or not, went as long, if not longer, than what had went down between Carmella and Bianca Belair. Remember, Bianca, Carmella, they went about 7. This one went 12 plus minutes. But you had a whole lot of dancing going on in there, a whole lot of slow dancing. And when you do a match where first several minutes is all about holds and a lot of stonewalling, a lot of just standing there in the middle of the fucking ring holding each other, you're going to lose your fucking crowd real fucking quick, especially if you never switch gears. And once they started doing that, crowd was into it for the first couple of minutes, but then lost them real fucking quick, never was able to regain the crowd. I mean, you had one little cool spot that went down where Ronda Rousey had the sharpshooter applied to Natty, and she actually hit the Shawn Michaels pose and everything. That had got a nice little reaction from the crowd. Natty didn't pop on that one. She actually broke out of it, sent Ronda outside. Ronda ended up banging her knees. Pretty much, actually, no, it was the other way around, as far as that whole sharpshooter and all that. No, I'm remembering it right. Natty had broke out, sent Ronda to the outside. Ronda ended up busting her knee or banging it up, setting it up for a Natty sharpshooter on the apron. It got broken up somehow, though. Natty gets thrown down, and she managed to beat the count, getting back into the ring. Both girls had traded off a few more submission holds. Rousey had countered into a sharpshooter, then made the transition into a cross arm breaker to retain her championship. But Natty did do the necessary damage that she needed to do to Ronda Rousey's leg and everything. So, weird. Just very weird. But wait, that sourpuss moment. Liv Morgan comes out, running down the ring, rushes to the referee, cashes in her Money in the Bank briefcase. Rousey is looking on. She is fucking stunned. The bell fucking rings. Morgan kicks that bad leg of Ronda Rousey. Yeah, I think she tried to go for a fucking roll up, but somehow Ronda Rousey was able to counter it. She had a single leg ankle lock applied there on Liv Morgan. You're looking at this and you're going, holy shit, this could be the shortest fucking turnaround for a cash in that's unsuccessful for the women's, right? Since the women have been able to participate in these women Money in the Bank joints, right? So you're going, oh wow, wouldn't this be something, right? Fans were cheering Liv on. They were booing the hell out of Ronda Rousey at this point. Looked as though Ronda Rousey, all she had to do when she had that single leg lock applied, looked as though all she had to do, because Liv was able to get a rope break if I remember it, but Ronda ended up pulling on that leg, and she was trying to put some more torque on it. The only thing that was missing was for Ronda to just drop to her back, holding that leg and just getting that fucking vice grip on that bad boy. Somehow Liv Morgan manages to get a fucking roll up. Yes, fucking roll up. Gets a pin. 27 seconds. Post-match, Rousey looking a little bit disgruntled, looking stunned, looking pretty pissed off. Hands Morgan the championship, gives her a hug, raises her arm. Fans, you deserve it. You deserve it. Oh, you guys are so fucking gullible. Now look. I'll tell you guys as much as the next person. I'll tell you guys as the next person here. This is real talk. I got to be consistent here too. I got to go back to that panel. Because everything that I said on that panel is in black and fucking white, man. I got to go back to that fucking panel. I knew that WWE was not done with Liv. I knew they weren't. Okay? But Jesus fucking Christ. Can you just imagine? Let me be blunt. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. WWE. Way to fucking bury Ronda Rousey. Way to make her look fucking pathetic. Way to make her look like she is less than. Sincerely. Way to fucking pull that off. Because here's the thing. Yeah, Ronda Rousey barely get out of that title defense. It's not like Natty is in a fucking coma or some shit like that. You're telling me you couldn't have Natty see what fucking Liv Morgan was trying to do? Tap that ass. Keep tapping on the ass of Ronda Rousey. And then, right, we couldn't end it like that. We couldn't go that route. Okay. Fine, whatever. But to just devalue Ronda Rousey the way that Ronda Rousey was devalued tonight, I just felt it was so fucking wrong. I felt it was, damn, WWE, you had a golden opportunity right here to really try to do a nice build-up in getting Liv Morgan ready. You had a great opportunity to do some pretty solid build-up as, hey, Liv is the one you definitely need to be watching. She is, without a shadow of a doubt, gonna be the future. The hell with, yeah, but Ronda wasn't at 100%. The hell with that. Okay? I can see that, but only so far. For me, it was just so, man, not only did you make her look pathetic, but you made Ronda Rousey look as if, okay, well, I lost a championship. I guess at this time, I'm just going to go home and enjoy a little mini vacation for a few months, right? That's how it fucking came off to me. It was weak sauce. It was total fucking weak sauce. And it's so fucking inconsistent. It's so fucking inconsistent because we've seen matches where Ronda Rousey has gone, hey, I can beat your ass with one arm tied behind my fucking back. Let's go. We've seen her do that before. We've seen her in a match where she wasn't at 100%, but she was still in storyline, but she was still able to kick somebody's ass. This right here was just a atrocious violation of all things considered smart booking, trying to have smart booking, trying to have good psychology. This was just really we're going to force this. We are going to make this happen. This felt to me like WWE's ultimate fuck you to Ronda Rousey. You can tell me at the end of the day, hey, it's just all about doing good business. Hey, whatever the boss says, that's how you could tell me that till you're blue in the face. Right? But this felt like a nice big fuck you / devils come to collect their due. Because remember when WWE was initially courting Ronda Rousey and everything had led up to them getting the deal with her, and one thing leads to another. She signs with the WWE. She's off to that great start. Then she decides she wants to go and do her thing, go try to be a mom and all of that. This just feels like, hey, everything's now coming full circle. Remember all these little things that we did for you here and there, all of that, right? All right, okay, well, now we need you to pay. Now it's time to pay the piper. Now you gotta pay. I didn't like it going down like this. Sure, I'm happy for Liv. Don't get it wrong, Liv Morgan fans. I'm very happy for Liv. I am. Not every day you get to say, hey, not only did I win a Money in the Bank main event, but I also became a women's champion in the same night by defeating a two-time WWE Women's Champion. Definitely, without a doubt, a future WWE Hall of Famer. Without a doubt. Definitely one of the best female MMA fighters of her respected time. Not every day you get to say you did all of those things. So I'm not taking anything away from Liv Morgan. I'm sure she's on cloud nine right now, fans as well. But the optics, when you really just take a step back, it's just, and see, shit like this wouldn't be going down for WWE if they had already been doing a better job in trying to establish new stars. Really taking their time, telling that fucking story, building them up properly and everything. Yeah, it just comes off so fucking laughable. It really, really does. I don't know what's going on with Ronda Rousey there. I'd be shocked to hear she's going to be on the next episode of SmackDown. I mean, at the same time, we all could definitely be in agreement that this latest run of Ronda Rousey as a champion, we all could be in agreement that it's been lackluster. And you could make a damn good argument that ultimately it's because she really didn't have, a good selection of dance partners to go up against, or at least the ones that were there in play weren't properly built up. You needed to invest more time in. But God, do we negate all of that by putting a person such as Liv in? You feel where I'm coming from? So it's kind of one of those, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, you're kind of fucked either way type of situation. Sound off on that though, but yeah. Main event time. Riddle, Rollins, Sheamus, McIntyre, Sami Zayn, Madcap Moss, Omos. But wait. We get Adam Pearce, and if we've been watching SmackDown these past couple of weeks, you've seen the theme. It's a recurring theme. Oh, you lost. Well, it's okay. We're going to put you in this match, and you can qualify still to participate that way. Okay, so you lost that opportunity match that we gave you, but we're going to give you another opportunity to... So, let me see if I got this straight. Because the optics on this one, it just comes off totally bipolar. So, you... Wow, like seriously. So, you lose... So, you lose the United States Championship to Bobby Lashley. But we're going to reward you by putting you in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The only way that is totally negated, since Vince McMahon has been making these fucking appearances every single fucking week.
Hey guys, I like red Skittles. Enjoy Raw.
Right? Can we at least negate what happened here tonight? This would make total fucking sense. It would shut me the fuck up if we go into Monday Night Raw. Theory runs into Vince McMahon. And Theory goes, hey, Mr. McMahon, hey, you see what I...
Of course I see. I saw everything. I saw what happened. Hell, I put you in that damn match. That was my call.
Right? I would love it if somehow, okay, it was because of McMahon. All right, got you. Or if maybe Adam Pearce says something along the lines of, hey, look, let's get something straight. It was never my intention to put you in that Money in the Bank ladder match. But obviously, you've got friends in high places. Right? Fans can put two and two together. Right, Mr. McMahon. Okay, gotcha. if you don't do some type of a breadcrumb acknowledgement tying it back to McMahon, this just adds on to the stupid bipolarness in WWE storylines that happen on a weekly basis. You guys have seen the fucking formula by now. You cannot dispute it. It is constantly, you lost, you're going to get another opportunity. Constantly. How many weeks have we seen Becky Lynch? I want to get me shot in a women's championship. Gimme. And she fucking loses. Cries like a fucking baby backstage. She gets another match to try to get into the match that will ultimately get you into the match that will get you to that match for that championship. We've seen it play out over. This is the bipolar stupidity that WWE has with, at times, lazy storytelling, lazy writing. Yeah, they can negate what they did with Theory if they go that route. Otherwise, how I felt Money in the Bank needed to go down as far as Omos having a strong, dominating performance. Very good. Coming up short. Laid out exactly how I thought it was going to be laid out. By the way, I know Kobe, Seth Rollins, I know he's part Hispanic or whatever, but I mean, he's white as well. Can we be for real for a second here? I hate to go the race route, but WWE, that's real fucking smart, having a bunch of white guys beat the shit out of the only black guy in the fucking match. I mean, am I right? Am I right? Come on now. I mean, goddamn. We shall overcome. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, that was brutal, man. Yeah, Omos had a good strong showing there, but he got ganged up a couple of times by all the fucking participants in there. I remember at one point they buried him with fucking ladders, and oh my God, they went to task on big man Omos. But despite that, he still had a pretty good showing in there. Everybody did their part in this main event match. Everybody looked pretty damn good. I gotta say, everybody got in some good shit. Match was good overall. Just trying to think. Having Theory be added into this at the last minute, you just felt that it was obvious Theory was going to win. But you might have been holding out a little bit of hope that maybe Seth Rollins would be the one to win this because of everything with Cody Rhodes, right? But that's not what came about. That's not what came about here. Theory winning this, obviously, Vince McMahon and crew, they are very high on the bandwagon. They are very high on Austin Theory. They look at this dude as the fucking future. They look at this dude as a multi-time world heavyweight champion. They look at this guy as the future face of the WWE and then some, despite whatever, whether you want to call it minor controversies or just controversies that this man has been involved in. They see a very bright career for this young man. And this Money in the Bank briefcase win for him, very weird. Very weird, because you would have thought, well, if not Seth Rollins, fucking Riddle. Just go with fucking Riddle. And the fact that they didn't go with Rollins, okay, I could kind of see where WWE is going here, because you could easily say, well, that's a storyline in itself. All we got to do is just hold these guys until maybe Rumble time, let them do their thing. And I would be very curious to learn what was the original plan for Money in the Bank, because it really does feel as though Rollins was going to steamroll his way into Money in the Bank and become the men's Money in the Bank winner. It really, I would love to know definitively what was the original plan before Cody went out. Because when you're going back, you're looking at the week's worth of WWE programming. Two guys, it really seemed like, okay, or actually, correction, three men, it seemed like they were really homing in on, that they wanted for us at home to really focus on. Riddle, Cody, Theory. And I would just be curious to learn, if Cody did not get injured, was he slated to win this? When were all parties involved booking this convinced, no, it needs to be Theory. Theory is the one that needs to advance. Now we've got this interesting situation that's before us right now, which is Theory has up to a year to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. And Roman Reigns is holding on to both championships right now. So does Theory plot this out very carefully? And does he try to cash in on Roman Reigns? Will he be able to cash in successfully? Or is this going to be a case where, is this going to be a case where Theory is going to wait patiently until one of those titles comes off of Roman? Roman's got the whole Roman Empire. He's got the Usos and all that. So kind of an odd man now, kind of one man against a fucking army. Let me instead go after, right? Because notice, here, think about this. Roman as champion. Both of those titles haven't been fused yet. And I don't think there's going to be a fusion of those titles. I know some people are looking at it and they're saying to themselves, yo, maybe there's going to be a new title introduced. I don't see that happening. I see this being a case where eventually Roman is going to drop one, if not both of those titles. Let's not forget the main event match for SummerSlam this year. It's going to be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, last man standing match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So both titles are pretty much going to be on the line. I'm like this. If we go into September and we still have two titles, take that as a sign that, okay, WWE, most likely, they're not gonna fuse this, but how are they gonna get back to that title monopoly? Okay, this needs to go back to this show, and this is gonna stay over here on this show. I like it as things are right now, where there's just one title. In regards to Raw and SmackDown, certain championships, I like that it's just one title right now. But I'm having a real hard time. If I could have it my way in a perfect world, Theory would somehow dethrone Roman Reigns, because if you're really trying to let this be about the future, you're trying to establish, because that's the main problem that most fans of the WWE product have today, which is, WWE kind of does a piss poor job and trying to establish these days new stars. And the guys that they do get, they kind of act like they don't know what to do with them. They kind of act like whatever blueprint was working in NXT doesn't exist when they're up on the main roster. They've been getting it right in a few areas here and there within recent years, but in the case of a guy like Theory, that if you're gonna ultimately have Theory dethrone whoever between Roman and Brock, if you're gonna have Theory dethrone, you're not gonna be able to do it straight up. And as we've seen with the Austin Theory character by now, the Theory character likes being kind of sneaky. He likes doing shit from behind and all that other shit. He is going to be a ultimate opportunist. Sorry, Edge, but he is going to be an ultimate opportunist. I just don't know if he's going to be able to cash in successfully on a Roman Reigns that's believable for the fans. There's so many areas that you got to check off where You have to make it be believable. It's not about saying to you guys, this is what's going to happen. What I'm mainly trying to highlight for you guys is WWE has put themselves in a very, very interesting position in regards to, okay, where are we going here? Right? Because we got Survivor Series right around the corner, and then pretty much after that, we're going into the Rumble. So what's the story that they're trying to tell here? For me personally, I would still love for Cody Rhodes to ultimately get the championship. But all things considered, first, you got to have Cody Rollins. And make no mistake about it, I do feel that when Cody does return, I do feel that Cody, not only will he win the Royal Rumble, but at the same time, he's going to extract that revenge on fucking Seth Rollins. Now, if you were to ask me straight up, do I see Cody and Rollins going at it one more time, considering in storyline, Rollins took him out, pretty much injured him? I could see a match coming about, but I think everything basically would start with the Rumble. Cody wins. He's got unfinished business on his way to WrestleMania. Do a pay-per-view with Rollins, and then pretty much from there, Cody focuses on his WrestleMania opponent. I like the idea of Cody Roman. If Roman is still holding on to the championship by then, I like the idea of those two getting it on for the championship. But Theory, whether it's at that WrestleMania, next night on Raw, Theory gets the championship off of fucking Cody. Cody's chasing after Theory for a hot little bit. Whether or not he succeeds, I think that's up in the air. But if I could have it my way, that's the direction that I would go. All right? That's the direction that I would go. And anybody that feels, well, Austin can't beat Roman, right? No matter what, if you would really just take a step back and think about story arcs, how they can make it believable and all that. For those that maybe are thinking, that Austin can't beat Roman, well, let's apply that same logic to Liv Morgan can't beat Ronda Rousey. And yet they had Liv Morgan defeat Ronda Rousey tonight. And we've seen Ronda Rousey in storyline not at 100% a few times and still able to come out as top dog. Anything can and will happen, you should know by now, in the WWE. Just when we think we know how shit's going to be going down, it goes in a completely different direction. WWE did a good job tonight as far as putting some surprises out there. I gotta say, they turned what started off as a very predictable card, and they put a couple of surprises in there for what it was worth. Lashley as the United States champion, rewarding Theory for losing the championship by putting him in the Money in the Bank. Theory's coming out on top. Morgan wins Money in the Bank and does a successful cash in, right? So you got some nice little resets. And let's not forget, I've said this every single year that we have been on the air. We've been on the air since 2011. I always tell you guys this, and it rings true every single year. The summertime is the time that WWE likes to do their experiments. So, known fact, if they've been thinking about, well, maybe we can make this person a champion. Maybe we can. They always do their experimenting during the summer. And if they feel that, not really sure about this one, by the time fall hits, they will typically go with the safe bets, the usual suspects, ride that into Mania, pretty much setting up those faces that got a nice little test run during the summer, pretty much anointing them come the next year's WrestleMania. I hope that's the pattern you guys been noticing, because it's almost like clockwork every single fucking time. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because this is basically the summer of Liv. right now, right? And think about this: whenever Rhea Ripley, I don't know how long she's going to be out, right? There's no hush hush is the word right now. We don't know the timetable, but can you just imagine if when Rhea Ripley comes back, somewhat of a story arc that's currently there where, Rhea could make an argument, if it wasn't for me, having whatever went down, Liv, that wouldn't have been you. I definitely would have been the new, right? So you got a nice little story arc that you can go back and revisit and everything. By the way, let me show some love to Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss was in there too in that men's Money in the Bank. That actually, he did good. Everybody in the men's, they did good. Everybody did fucking good. Riddle, Zayn, Omos for what it was worth. Everybody did good. Shit was smooth. This was a better, well-executed ladder match than what went down with the women's ladder match for all intents and purposes. So I'm definitely going to give Money in the Bank a thumbs up, all things considered. As far as the overall rating, man, I'm looking at this card overall here. Let me just, let's go back here. Let's look at this card one more time. 7 matches, 1. So again, lowest point, women's Money in the Bank. Actually, you know what? Wow. Because it's a tie now that I'm thinking about it. Because lowest point, Ronda Rousey and the way she lost the championship to Liv Morgan. But then I go back and think about the women's ladder match. So that's interesting. If I were forced to pick only one low point, I would probably go with, oh man, god damn, that's a tough one, y'all. That's a tough one. I would probably go with Ronda Rousey losing to Liv. Yeah, that should have been designed much better, all things considered. It should have been designed better. Hell, man, you could have even justified by having fucking Natty, be a sore fucking loser and maybe getting a cheap attack in there on fucking Ronda and, right? Just to stick it to her, you ain't the queen technical bitch, I am, right? Just to stick it to her or whatever. Okay, so obviously this goes beyond a championship for Natalya, right? This is all about just proving her dominance, proving that she is the absolute best women's technical wrestler in WWE, not Ronda Rousey. I'd have been all right with that, man. But I got to go with that as the lowest point. But that women's ladder match definitely right up under. High point. High point, I would probably say tag match. The tag match for the tag titles. I got to go with that. Started off slow, but was picking up despite the false finishes, right? Near falls. Damn good. So that would be my low point and my high point there. And then definitely showing love to Lashley, Theory for what they did. Bianca, Carmella, they did pretty good. So I give the pay-per-view a thumbs up. I would probably give it I can't go any higher. I can't go any lower. All things considered, I would give it a 7 out of 10. You definitely get a point deduction for the way the women's ladder match was organized. You definitely get a point deduction for how Ronda Liv, how that was booked. You definitely lose a point for Usos, Profits, being a little long-winded, starting off kind of slow. So, yeah, I can't go higher. I can't go any lower. I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. And most importantly, how'd you guys rated the pay-per-view overall here? How we doing on Showtime, by the way? Because I know we kind of got started a little. Not bad. An hour 54 for pay-per-view. That's good. I love that. All right, let's see what you guys had to say about the pay-per-view here. See. Go vote. Twitter at the RCWR show. And then you guys got YouTube as well. YouTube.com/the RCWR show to let your voices be heard that way. All right. So via Twitter, I asked you guys, what did you think about Money in the Bank? Wow. 47% of you gave the pay-per-view a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 53% of you are giving it a thumbs down. All right. Let's see what you guys had to say via YouTube in the communities tab here. Different beasts on YouTube. Communities tab. 13% of you are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down. Again, 13% of you are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 88% of you are giving it a thumbs up. So polar opposites, Twitter, YouTube. So if you have Twitter and you're trying to figure out, like, go with the poll. As I always tell you guys, go with the poll where you feel, yeah, majority's over here and this is where I am. I'm with the majority on this one. Do not vote on both polls. Just choose the one you feel best represents where you are and stick with that one. And we'll definitely revisit this again on Monday's show, because I am going to take a second peek at the polling results, see what you guys are saying. All right, if you guys want to fire off some more, you want to rate the pay-per-view real quick, give me your highs and lows before we get ready to call it, go ahead. This is your time right now, because you pretty much heard what all I had to say. Josh is saying in the chat, Sami Zayn was robbed. Yeah, it's another one of those Sami Zayn conspiracies, is it not, Josh? I mean, seriously. Seriously. Let's see what else we got here. LG3, proud of Thoery, right? There's one Thoery fan there. Noe, congrats to Liv Morgan on winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. By the way, were we able to confirm? I had asked earlier, right? I appreciate you guys that, like tuning in live and everything, but I had asked you guys earlier to save me from researching online, because I can only be in so many places when I'm live and focus on so many things. Was, in fact, our man Pat McAfee attacked by Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, after the pay-per-view? And also, I see there's this pic that's floating around of the McMahons as Pat McAfee is in a cast at the UFC joint, and nobody had responded to that. So I would hate to end the show, right? Because people are going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads. I would hate to end the show, and it's like, what the fuck? Now, in an update, 37 minutes ago from WWE's official Twitter account, they made the announcement that Pat McAfee will be facing Happy Corbin at SummerSlam. You heard me right. Besides that, I am looking to see if there was... And yes, apparently the picture that I showed you guys earlier of McMahon, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Pat McAfee, they apparently were at UFC 276 tonight. Pat McAfee in a cast. So that's amazing that pretty much after all that was said and done, they pretty much had rushed over to UFC 276. So that is fucking badass. I love that. I fucking love that. All right, so that is, I asked you guys to do one thing for me. And you guys left me hanging. Seriously, I got to do everything myself over here. It's all good. Well, see, at least YS didn't leave me hanging. YS confirmed that Pat McAfee was indeed attacked. And thank you. See, at least somebody fucking confirmed. All you others just there. That's just wrong. Leaving a brother hanging like that. All right, it's all good. YS, best thing about Ronda versus Natty was Natty's boobies before Liv cashed in. I gotta say, Natty Thickums, yum. Hey, very attractive Natty. Yes, Natty, very, very attractive woman. See what else are you guys saying here in the chat here. Steven, why should I read when I had asked you if you could find me that information and you left me hanging? Why should I read your comment? It's all good. I want Matt Riddle to win Money in the Bank briefcase. WWE picked Austin Theory, who I'm fond of. I don't like him. Wait, huh? All right. That makes no sense, Steven. Which one is it? You either like Theory or you don't. That sounds very confusing, my man. You gotta clean that up, brother. You gotta clean that up. I know it's kind of late. Put the Hennessy down. Rethink that before you type, man, because I don't. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat here. Danny, man, tap, Liv Morgan. I guess that's his way of saying Liv Morgan is attractive. I got you. Let's see. So shout out to Chester, because Chester was the one that initially had said Corbin was attacked. But we were just trying to confirm that. So shout out to Chester for initially bringing that to the attention there. Let's see what else. And then other than that, are we good? I think we're good, man. I'm just making sure I'm caught up. And it looks like we're caught up for the most part. Yeah, let's go ahead and call this. Man, we've pretty much almost gone 2 hours, yeah? Or now we're definitely at the a little bit of buffering. Hang on. There you go. Let's go ahead, let's call this. All right, so quick programming note, because it's now officially Sunday, right? So I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the 4th of July holiday that's going to be coming up. To those of you that currently serve in the military, shout out to you guys. Thank you for doing what you do for our country. And just everybody, just be safe out there. If you're going to be getting your drink on and everything, don't drink and drive. Just, my God, this day and age, you got Ubers, you got Lyfts, you even got free taxis, all that. Like, utilize those. Don't drink and drive, all right? Be smart about it. I'll be live with you guys on Monday night, July 4th, after Monday Night Raw goes off the air. So to those of you that maybe are going to be around, come hang out, tune in. We'll be live and everything. We'll talk about Raw Fallout. We'll go over some headlines, all that good stuff. Tuesday, we'll be back with a new Wrestling with the Topics for you guys, hosted by myself and Tams. Remember, we'll be live on multiple outlets, but we do a big bulk of the interactions in the Discord. I'll make sure a link is available in the episode description so you guys can check it out. Or if you're following me on social media, just click on the link when you see it, hop in the Discord, and it's nice, good. It's really been nice hearing folks that's been appreciating that show now that we've branched it out more, and more people are coming around to that series. So I'm very fond of that series. To think we've been doing that series now for almost 10 years, believe it or not. That may surprise a lot of people, but the big bulk of the episodes were exclusive just to Patreon. And then it was really only late last year, as we were getting ready to go into 2022, I had decided I would make that series be available for everybody to check out and everything. YS is saying he has a birthday on Tuesday, July 5th coming up. Happy birthday to you in advance. And yeah, man, Wednesday we'll be at it as well. So you longtime listeners, you know the drill. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to have your hookup live as always. Meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Shout out to our sponsors. Make sure you represent, check them all out. They're doing their part in helping us keep the shows free for you guys, helping us out with the show expenses as well. If you enjoyed this episode, I can't stress it enough, hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds. It's free. When you do that, it really helps supercharge our content, helps it reach a more broader audience. Subscribe as well so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way. We're 20 away from 12,000 subs. I would love to do a special episode for you guys, thanking you guys for the 12,000 subs. So we're like 20 away. Let's see if we can get some more subs. We've been picking it up this week. Let's see if we can keep at it, man. All right? Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. To all of you that had spent your time, your 4th of July holiday weekend with me for this post show, thank you guys tremendously. To those of you that's going to be welcoming me into your ears, checking this out on demand and on the downloads, thank you for the continued support. As always, enjoy the 4th of July weekend holiday coming up from my family to yours. Happy 4th, and I'll catch you all next go around. Take care, y'all. Peace.